Welcome back. We'll start a series of lectures on Vulnerability Assessment Systems, or VAS. One of the keys to being a successful ethical hacker or penetration tester is the ability to find vulnerabilities on the target systems in order to secure them. As you already know, a vulnerability is a bug of an asset that an attacker can exploit to gain unauthorized access to sensitive data, inject malicious code, or generate denial-of-service attacks. To prevent security breaches, it is important to identify and remediate security holes and vulnerabilities that can expose an asset to an attack. We took a look at several ways to do that, including various tools like Nmap, Zenmap, Routersploit, or Metasploit. Even though they are great tools in finding vulnerabilities on different systems, a lot of human effort is needed in detecting and suggesting solutions for different vulnerabilities and flaws. A tool that detects, assesses, reports, and integrates with other tools would be of a great help. Such a tool is called generically Vulnerability Assessment System, or VAS, and is used by professional penetration testers for both personal and enterprise networks testing. Most of them use common vulnerabilities and exposures, or CVEs, to run test cases for the vulnerability testing on different infrastructures. They use signatures of the discovered vulnerabilities, so it's important to update their database as quickly as possible for newly exposed vulnerabilities. A VAS helps you to understand the cyber exposure of all assets, including vulnerabilities, misconfigurations, and other security health indicators. Let's see what vulnerability assessment systems are available on the market. One of the first such products was Nessus, which started in 1998 to provide the internet community with a free remote security scanner. However, in 2005, Tenable Network Security, the company that developed Nessus, changed it to a proprietary closed-source license. Nowadays, Nessus is one of the most well-known and used commercial VAS, especially by big networks or corporations. A one-year license price starts from $3,000, which is considered expensive for individuals or small companies. Note that there is also a trial version which is free of cost for personal use in a non-commercial environment for a limited period of time. After Nessus became a commercial software, a few pen testers created an open source and free fork called OpenVAS. Now, OpenVAS is an open source vulnerability manager and vulnerability assessment system, which means it is free to use and its source code is public as well. It is licensed under GPL, and although it is free, it is really good at its job and is in the list of the top VAS. In this section, we'll take a look at OpenVAS, which is a tool that scans the entire network infrastructure for vulnerabilities and generates a scan report, which helps you to prioritize vulnerabilities based on risk factor and determine the most effective solution to implement. Another VAS is Nexpose, which is developed by Rapid7, the same company that develops Metasploit. It also integrates with Metasploit so that it provides a vulnerability assessment and validation tool which helps you eliminate false positive, verify vulnerabilities, and test remediation measures. Nexpose comes in several versions, both commercial and free. The Community Edition is a free and limited version of Nexpose, and it's the one someone should start with. In order to install it, the first step is to create a free account at this address. An email address other than a free one is required, and a license key that is valid for 1 year, will be emailed to that address. Note that vulnerability assessment systems are complex applications with lots of components and require a lot of resources. For example, the minimum requirements for an expose is 8 GB of RAM, 16 GB being the recommended, and 100 GB of free space on your disk. On the other hand, Open VAS does not require anything near that amount of memory, but the more you can provide it, the smoother your scanning system will run. Keep in mind that most of the problems, errors, and crashes of VAS are due to insufficient resources allocated. For our tasks, I'd recommend you to allocate, if possible, 3 or 4 GB of RAM to the VM. This was a short introduction to vulnerability assessment systems. We'll take a short break, and in the next lectures, I'll show you how to install and use Open VAS.